So now that we've walked through the whole example of creating a Hall object with a class-based view, and we even customized the saving of that object, take a look at our SignUp class. What do you notice here? Well, a lot of this is exactly the same, right? We have a success URL, a template name. In this case, the form class here, we specify that rather than the model because there's a specific form that we'd like to use, and that's the one that we had imported there. But because both of these inherit from the same create view, we can actually customize how things are saved, because it would be awesome when someone signs up, which is essentially creating a user. That's why we have the create view. It would be awesome if we could automatically log them in so they don't create a new account and then have to go log in. Like, that should just be one solid process for the end user. So let's go ahead and do that. All we're going to do is use this exact same def form valid. So we'll copy this, paste that in. And what we're going to do inside of here is, well, and we're going to have to get a couple of functions here. Let's import these before we move forward. So let's do from Django contrib auth. Let's copy up to there, paste down below, and we're going to say import. And we want to bring in here authenticate, and we also want to bring in login. So we'll go ahead and add those two. I'm going to put that closer to its friend up top just so that as someone's reading this, it's kind of like, oh, okay, those two are connected. All right, so we'll save that, and what we're going to do now is say, all right, so someone wants to create a user, right? We should again call the super class just like we had done over here. So let's go ahead and copy this. We'll paste it here, and instead of create Hall, we want this to be sign up. And we're actually, this is going to spit back for us an object here. So we actually want to say valid form is equal to whatever we get back from this, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to get the username and the password from the form. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, user name, comma, password. We're going to combine this into one line here. So we're going to set the username and password to the form.cleaned_data. Okay. And on this we'll do a there we go, clean data dot get, and we're looking for username, excellent, comma, so that sets the username. Now we want to do the same thing but for the password, so I'm just going to copy this. Okay, go ahead and paste this, and we'll use this for password 1, ending parenthesis there. Boom. Okay, so we've now set a username and a password. Then what we're going to do is we're going to authenticate our user here. So we're going to say, oh, and I'm just realizing here, this is not the valid form. The form is what's been validated. This is actually the view that's going to be sent back. So we can actually just change this to view. Okay, so we've got our view there, but got sidetracked for a second there. What we're going to do is we're going to sign in our user. So we're going to say, all right, user is equal to authenticate, and we're going to pass in and say, all right, the username is equal to, you guessed it, username, and then the password is equal to password. Pretty straightforward. Then we're going to log in this user. So we're going to say login self.request, and then we'll also pass in our user. That'll log them in, and then we want to return the view that we had created earlier by calling subclass. So in this situation, right, like we could have redirected them back to the same place, but I think it was appropriate to get them to home. Like, people aren't going to want to be creating hall after hall after hall. But with this in place, hopefully you've seen here, we're using the same idea to customize our class-based view. If we save this, let's go ahead and try it out. We'll go back to our home page here, and we'll log out. And let's say someone decides to sign up. So this time, rather than Matt, we'll have maybe someone named Laura. And again, Django1234, Django1234. They decide to sign up. Check this out. We still get sent to the home page, but look at that. We see the dashboard and the logout. So we're automatically signed in. right? And all we did is we decided to customize the code rather than using the regular form valid that we actually even call that same code. But it's after that happens, just before we return that view, we say, okay, well, let's just do a little bit more for our user here. Let's get them authenticated, logged in, so then they don't have to, take one more step. That would be really confusing for the end user. So nice to be able to provide some convenience for our users, and hopefully forms are getting, or the class-based views are getting a little bit more familiar. If they haven't yet, in the coming videos, you're going to really start to feel it.